Enough already!
Hinako, your father.
Hello everyone! Welcome to PST Channel Game Story, movie style for your busy days. Curious if the newest game Silent Hill F is worth your time? This town answers with 5 different fates. Watch this once, leave with one clear picture of what really happened and why it matters. Join PST for one sit of every story with no filler. We offer you more value than full movie. The story follows Hinako Shimizu, a sporty girl living under a violent father, and a mother who accepts his control. Hinako is constantly compared to her older sister Junko, the perfect, reliable lady. But Junko married and left. With her gone, no one stands between Hinako and her father. After another scolding, Hinako leaves home to find her friend. On the way, she overhears talk about foxes appearing in town. Elders who respect the fox spirits might be safe. The younger generation might provoke them without meaning to. People say the foxes aren't aggressive, but they carry real diseases. Rabies, tetanus, echinococosis. So the town committee ought to warn everyone. She notices a newspaper about an onsen geyser in Iwashimizu, Ebisugaoka town, Yambei district. It spewed water at least 30 meters high. Even after it stopped, the constant noise, the hydrogen sulfide stench, and the high arsenic levels sent residents to the hospital. A landslide is also blocking paths around Ebisugaoka. Authorities think a chain of small earthquakes caused all this, but rumors blame an Oinari-sama curse. Ebisugaoka once bustled when workers came for the northern coal mines and dam construction. After those projects ended, the town thinned out. Only a grand iron bridge links it to the nearby city now. The town venerates Oinari-sama, the goddess who puts unusable tools to rest. People offer aburage, fried tofu pierced with an old needle, a custom unique to Ebisugaoka. Fox gods are enshrined all over the area. Hinako spots a dead creature under a truck, blocking the road to Chizuruya's shop, and takes a detour past Sakuko's house. Sakuko calls her a traitor. Sakuko is the daughter of the head priest of Senninsugi Shrine, a traditional miko who sells charms during New Year. A missing person poster catches Hinako's eye. Suzutani Mayumi, last seen wearing a white blouse, long navy skirt, and a beige neckerchief with polka dots. The key details of the disappearance have been torn away. She finally finds Shu at Chizuruya. Shu is her childhood best friend. They call each other partner from their Space Wars roleplay. Unlike many kids of the Showa era, Shu doesn't look down on girls. Rinko and Sakuko soon join them. They've borrowed things from Hinako. Rinko, a magazine. Sakuko, 500 yen. As they chat, Hinako glimpses a shape in the mist. Polka dots appear on Sakuko's skin, and red flowers spread. Hinako runs until she hears Junko's voice, and a ladder appears. She climbs onto another path, circles back to Chizuruya, and reunites with her friends. A radio report breaks in. The Magogawa Bridge has collapsed after an attack by an unknown object. The eastern route out of Ibusugaoka is now closed. Hinako finds notes from a local doctor. Some patients improve through trust and conversation rather than medicine alone. Pharmacists honored since ancient times may carry a power akin to Oinari-sama. Many here pray to Oinari-sama to speed recovery. Dolls seem to move around the town. Hinako hurries away, fighting through them. Along the way, she finds diaries.
I'm joking! Stop!
One recounts Susanoo no Mikoto slaying Yamato no Orochi, but Ibusugaoka's records say one of Orochi's heads fell between the mountains of Higanokuni, revived as a poisonous water dragon, and plagued the land for years. Higanokuni is Ibisugaoka. The toxic gas in underground streams might be that dragon in another form, and someone may be turning his connection into profit. Back at Chizuruya, Sakuko seems hopeless. Hinako tells her to be free and have a good dream. Hinako fights the dolls and collapses. She awakens in a mind world. A man's voice commands the offering of flesh and blood for the clan's prosperity. Red mist gathers. A figure in a fox-masked man appears and saves her. Following him, Hinako obtains a kaiken, a ceremonial dagger. She finds her childhood doll here. A monster's voice rises. Hinako fights with the kaiken and escapes. In another record, she reads, "Marriage between mortals and gods is considered an honor by humans. But from the god's side, why would a divine being bind itself to a vulgar life form?" Inside a shrine, the fox-masked man hands Hinako a jade key made especially for her. He tells her to place it in an Inari statue. Red mist closes in. Another fight. She finds a door toward a sacred ground, and as she closes it, her own doll attacks her. Back in reality, Shu wakes her and they head toward Rinko's house. Along the way, Hinako finds a tale of a sacred sword. In the Muromachi period, a youth who discovered it was consumed by the Taira clan's resentment and massacred others. The sword came to hold the lingering animosity of the defeated Taira soldiers. Jizo statues might act as markers pointing to the sword. History surfaces again. The Taira clan lost the Genpai War and fled to sanctuary locations. Ebisugaoka, with its poisonous gases, made for a perfect hiding place. Locals suffered from the water dragon's poison, shaping a faith of sacred sword intended to calm the threat, though that belief didn't survive into the present. Hinako finds a letter from a woman with a drunk, violent husband. She had a 3-year-old child and another unborn child. The letter hints at despair and possible suicide. At the doctor's house, another record. A patient attacked by a fox had severe wounds, but recovered quickly. Later, he seemed like a different boy, perhaps possessed. Among Inari followers in Ebisugaoka, foxes brought fortune to those who once saved them. Younger generations, however, see foxes as purely negative. For those who blaspheme against Inari, medicine seems less effective, but sincere prayer improves treatment. The doctor decides to work with patients' faith to build stronger rapport. He also notes the Iwai family physicians. Their knowledge is exceptional. They use controlled substances with care, balancing traditional and modern medicine. Long the role of local physicians in Ebisugaoka. An autopsy report disturbs. Cause of death undetermined. Bodies malnourished, skulls split as if from within, crania filled with insect eggs, locusts, grasshoppers, crickets, apparently implanted naturally. When turned over to police, these bodies were disposed of without ceremony. Those who blasphemed against Inari are suspected among the dead. Passing through Sakuko's shrine, Hinako finds a letter from Sakuko's mother telling her not to speak about the voices she hears. Rumors would make people see her differently. Hinako spots a giant monster in a well. Shu tells her to get into the storehouse and says he'll open a window. After escaping, They cross the rice fields and find a cluster of mannequins. They might be girls who fell into the irrigation channels and drowned. The ground shifts into a maze. Beyond the maze is Rinko's house. Rinko rushes out to Shu. Inside, they discuss escaping. Shu suggests taking the highway behind his house and asks Rinko to prepare a first aid kit. Hinako goes with Rinko. Then Rinko pushes her down the stairs. The moment is seen through the eyes of Hinako's doll. Hinako wakes in the mind world again. On a shelf lies a clan mandate. Drain the sacrifice's blood and add wine distilled 8 times. Spare the viscera and fill the body with rice mixed with the master's saliva. Seal with needle and thread. Dress her in fine bridal garments. Set her afloat on a straw raft to sink and quell the wrath. Another record explains that, in Shinto belief, each land in Japan is guarded by its own deities. People's beliefs strengthens these gods and helps them protect the land. The blood of a mortal tied to that land deepens the bond between mortal and deity. Marriages between mortals and deities are exceedingly rare. Following Sakuko's voice into a shrine, Hinako encounters many monsters. Sakuko admits she didn't want to be left alone. That's why she called Hinako a traitor. She transforms and attacks. The fox-masked man shields Hinako and drives Sakuko away with a spell. He tells Hinako to cleanse her body before entering the sacred ground. The water becomes perilous. Hinako's doll warns her not to trust the fox-masked man. She let her see the vision when participating in the ceremony and get hurt by her own deed. Back in reality, Shu wakes her. Her sleeve is torn. Shu, Hinako, and Rinko make for Shu's house. Rinko observes that Hinako and Shu never really move forward. They still see each other only as childhood friends. On the way through Shizuruya, too many monsters wander the streets, so Shu suggests heading for the middle school and taking the mountain path. Hinako finds a researcher's photo set about local folklore and the sacred sword. Damaged Jizo statues rest in the hollows of a divine tree. The sword predates the Inari faith here, and the Jizo statues were used as anchors to seal it. At a beheaded statue, Hinako experiences mysterious visions. When she regroups with Rinko and Shu, she hears them whisper that she had already died. They change the subject when Hinako arrives. The mountain gate is locked, so Hinako goes to search for its key while Shu watches over Rinko. A record from the mid-Kamakura period describes a shift from water dragon faith to divine tree faith. Peculiar monks wearing multiple masks, standing near 3 meters tall, visited Ebisugaoka, gathered the people by a cedar, and told them to believe. This great tree will subdue the beast by sapping its evil. From then on, the town abandoned the water dragon and embraced the divine tree. This change is more than folklore. It demonstrates how communities adapt, moving from worship of destruction to worship of containment. The Tsukumogami faith later fuses with the divine tree, and broken tools are left as offerings. Centuries later, the practice is absorbed again, this time into Inari worship, where the offerings are redirected to fox deities. By Hinako's time, townsfolk like her interpret the custom as Inari faith, unaware of its older roots in tree and tool worship. She awakens in the mind world to the fox-masked man's voice. He will save her soul and let her reclaim her life, repayment for saving his. Hinako finds herself wearing a fox mask. One arm is swollen and puffy, and her back is branded. Lost in Sakuko's house, Hinako discovers a diary about the sacred sword, source of a corrupt god's power. If the sword can be submerged in an elixir that exorcises evil, It could cut the strings controlling those lost in the fog. Another set of notes explains Sakuko's home. Her family has served Senninsugi Shrine for generations, but the shrine's popularity declined. When her father became head priest, he refused the role and took an office job. Her parents saw the tradition as obsolete, while Sakuko loved the dignified rituals for Oinari-sama and wanted to lead. Another note confesses that Sakuko envied Hinako so deeply she could kill her, and resented that Hinako left. When Hinako sees Sakuko locked in a cell, she chooses to ignore her and walk away. A ritual text says the two must face one another as one and pray for mutual prosperity, lifting their heads like mirror reflections as custom dictates. It speaks of rare individuals with non-ABO blood, blessed by the stars, blood that deepens bonds between mortals and the gods of a village. Those born under such signs are chosen as candidates for marriage, which explains why such unions are so rare. The transition leads to a new life. Deeper in, Hinako finds Rinko's diary. When the town was swallowed by thick fog and Rinko sat alone in her empty house, Shu came for her. She fell for him and saw Hinako as an obstacle. She admits she looked down on her friends, even buying candy to keep them close, and later realized that she had raised herself up falsely. Distrust followed. Everyone felt like a pretender. She blamed Hinako. When Hinako reaches Rinko, the girl is locked above a pool of lava. Hinako drops the cage, letting it fall. Another memory surfaces. This time, Shu's. Drawings from elementary school brim with resentment toward Hinako. When she finds him confined over a hall, she releases the chain that suspends him. The pain of what she has done to her childhood friends is heavy. The fox-masked man calms her. He slips her into unconsciousness and wakes again in the real world. Leaving the middle school, Hinako realizes Shu and Rinko have gone on ahead, leaving her behind. A monster hunts her, so she pushes towards Shu's house. Along the way, she finds an Edo period record. The divine tree, the symbol of faith, was struck by lightning and burned. By then, Tsukumogami beliefs had grown deep. Sacredness was measured by antiquity, so the tree had been revered as the oldest object, not merely as a seal for the dragon. A new divine object replaced the tree, an Inari statue. With Inari faith now mixed with Tsukumogami practice, Ebisugaoka formed its own hybrid, a mongrel Inari district from the rest of Japan. Without its guardian tree, the land would see the ancient water dragon rise again. A family of benevolent foxes traveled from the west to subdue it. Through this tale, people devoted themselves to Oinari-sama. The monster finally reaches Hinako, then dissolves into fog as she passes beneath Torii Gate. Inside lies Sakuko's old shrine, abandoned after the fire. The divine tree stands here as well. A sacred sword record says Taira's soldiers swore revenge on the Minamoto and sought to restore their clan. They buried their leader's sword at the base of the great tree that protects this land. In Shu's house, Hinako finds a prescription note about her tension headaches, stress born from conflict with her father. She had relied on over-the-counter drugs, but switching to traditional Chinese medicine brought vivid dreams and space for speaking with one's inner self. Her symptoms improved. The note suggests her true reason for visiting was not just medicine, but a place to voice grievances about her father, and that it was the writer's role as her partner to hear her out. No one is home. In the garden, a giant monster attacks. Hinako awakens in the mind world again. This time, her body feels normal. The fox-masked man invites her to perform 3 rituals. Ignoring her doll's warning, Hinako goes deeper into the shrine and finds a physician's log about fox possession. Patients vocalize strangely and crawl on all fours. Families refuse hospital transport. The first ritual begins. Hinako must cut her arm and attach the fox's puffy arm in its place, proving that body and mind belong to the Fox clan's purpose. The second ritual brands her back with a burning mark. She bears it to the end. The final ritual removes the skin around her eyes, replacing it with the fox mask. With it, Hinako can now see secrets concealed within the dark shrine. The fox masked man leads her through a Fox clan celebration. Her doll urges her to remember her name, Shimizu Hinako. The priestess presiding over the rite reveals herself as Rinko and attacks. Hinako unleashes her power and defeats her. Confusion about identity settles in.
これでリンコの世界から清水ひな子は消えたね。
Hinako wakes in the real world. Her mother calls her home. Then Junko appears, telling Hinako to choose her own future. And warning that time is running out, Hinako turns toward the Shimizu residence first. Hinako returns home and finds the Shimizu house changed. As she explores, memories surface. Her father was deceived and fell into debt. The family's status declined. She discovers her friends had been hanging dead. Her father and mother appear to celebrate her return, then twist into monsters. Hinako defeats them and they lead her to a creature in a bridal garment. She kills them. Hinako awakens in the mind world. The fox masked man offers a drink infused with divine power to ease her pain and fastens a pin on her. In the dark shrine beyond, she finds another physician's log. The parents of a patient were killed with their skin sloughing off. The head of household denied permission for autopsies. Cremation was ordered immediately. Inside a mansion within the shrine, Hinako reads a housemaid's notes about the Tsuneki family, rich, prominent, and often envied. In times of suffering, the Tsuneki treasury grew. A new boy was born to the family, sharing Tsuneki blood, believed to bring fortune in times of disorder. Kotoyuki, the head of the house, carried a duty to find a living sacrifice every 8 years. A maiden blessed by the stars and favored by fate, whose offering would quench the being's vicious thirst in deep waters. The fox-masked man arranges a meeting. Junko arrives in a black kimono and warns that if that thing survives, she will kill Hinako. Then the fox mask leads Hinako to a fox statue, where they insert rings that unlock a door. The final rite begins. With the fox masked man, Hinako enters the last shrine. Higan flowers sprout from her body after an offering of the rope. Then transformation takes hold. Hinako becomes a bride monster. Junko orders the bride to bid her parents farewell. The creature kills them all. Hinako wakes in the real world and heads deeper into the shrine. Junko tries to calm her, but Hinako ignores her and takes an overdose of pills. She destroys everything on the altar and confronts the bride monster.
私の全てを奪った。
Leaving Tsuneushi Shrine, Hinako hears a voice pleading with her to stop. But on the path home, she sees only monstrosities. and every road bends back to Tsunayoshi Shrine, where the bride monster waits. Sirens break the silence. Police and ambulances enter Ebisugaoka. Reports mention 2 male victims and a female suspect armed with a knife, wearing a wedding dress, echoing the scene of a wedding day massacre. Witnesses say she was seen consuming red and white capsules at the site. Before we continue, that was only one possible outcome you can reach in this game. From here on, hello there! PST from an alternate universe here to tell you about our mysterious red capsule. The red capsule in Silent Hill F plays an important role in both the narrative and the endings. In the game, Hinako has been taking this medicine prescribed by Shu, as we see in the beginning of the story, to manage her tension headaches. Shu's journal entries reveal that he made it from ground hakukosu seeds combined with peony and kudzu root. Around Shu's house, we also find a pond surrounded by white flowers, strongly reminiscent of White Claudia, the recurring herb in Silent Hill lore. Although the game never directly spells out White Claudia directly to us, the visual connection is hard to miss. Because of this, the red capsules are not mere healing items, they are deeply woven into the story. Their effects distort Hinako's perception, influence her experiences, and shape her grasp of reality. Now, I hope you get the picture. And since the game's endings are determined by how we deal with the red capsules, let me walk you through the other ending, without even playing New Game Plus. Ending Scene 2. Junko tells Hinako to accept reality. The real Hinako no longer exists. Hinako's doll plays a trick on Junko, and Junko vanishes. A half-fox Hinako appears. As they collide, the half-fox Hinako receives an elixir from the fox-masked man, while the other Hinako is overtaken by a dark power. The fox-masked man eliminates her and is then attacked by Shu. Hinako shields the fox-masked man. He is Kotoyuki. Hinako chooses Kotoyuki because he wants a future with her, whereas Shu wants things to remain the same. Hinako also wishes, if possible, that another part of her could stay with Shu. Shu can't accept this. He confesses that he gave Hinako the red and white capsules, medicine that allows reflection with one's inner self, but carries dangerous side effects. He did not want Hinako to marry. Shu transforms into the evil monk who established the Divine Tree faith. Hinako defeats him and restores him to human form. Kotoyuki and Shu reach a shared understanding. Both want to be the one who truly understands Hinako. They decide to be friends. Later, when the two are together, Hinako's facial skin cries out that she does not want to repeat her parents' path. Ending Scene 3. A movie review of The Great Space Invasion describes UFOs and humans controlled by aliens, making everyone suspicious. Who is friend and who is foe? When humans accuse the innocent, they send their own people to detention, and anyone who speaks against the aliens is treated as an enemy. In the end, more humans die by the hands of humans than by aliens. The aliens leave Earth, judging humanity not worth taking over. An anime sequence shows Shu, Rinko, and Hinako discussing the film. Sakuko enters with a mechanical bride monster. They try to separate truth from lies, but the scene collapses into a call from Hinako's parents inviting her home for dinner.
ハンバーグだよ。それ、お姉ちゃんの好物だってば。
Ending Ending Scene 4. Hinako fights for her own existence and the right to choose her future. Junko is frozen by the power of Hinako's doll, which allows the altar to be destroyed. The half-fox Hinako seeks a new life, while the other Hinako chooses to return to herself. The half-fox Hinako transforms into a bride monster. After the creature is defeated, Kotoyuki confronts her and becomes a fox monster himself. Shu intervenes. He can enter the sacred ground of Tsunayoshi Shrine because of the power of Hinako's doll. Kotoyuki loves Hinako and wants her happiness. He needs her arm and wants her as his wife. He has tried to follow human rules of courtship, but if that means losing her, he will force her to leave her world and fade from memory, becoming a missing girl on a poster spirited away by a fox. After defeating him, Shu helps Hinako escape the shrine. Kotoyuki tells her to go. He will take care of the rest. Shu remembers Kotoyuki as one of the children who once played Space Wars. Even as a monster, Kotoyuki is still a comrade in Shu's eyes. Outside the shrine, Shu is relieved that Hinako has not given up on life. Hinako notices Shu's odd necktie. Ebisugaoka has been evacuated due to rising hydrogen sulfide gas. The town stands deserted. Ending Scene 5. Hinako realizes someone is toying with her family's lives. One party intends to marry her off. Another aims to stop the wedding. She rejects both. She believes women should not be treated that way, and she and Junko must fight. A half-fox Hinako appears and does not want to fight. Yet both Hinako and the half-fox are forced into conflict by the god monk and the fox god. Kotoyuki steps in and collapses. Through Kotoyuki, the fox god explains that on certain blue moon nights, humankind produces an extraordinary girl blessed with divine power. A spell binds the Fox clan's successor, making him desire such a girl as his wife. In the past, the Fox clan lured the wife through cunning. Coyote's attempt is called foolish. Hearing the fox god's laughter, the half-fox Hinako cannot stand it. The half-fox Hinako battles the fox god. The other Hinako supports her and fights the god monk who is attached to Hinako's doll. Hinako fears that Kotoyuki might become like her father one day, which is why she resists. But, confronted with the fox god's laughter, she decides that only her future self has the right to laugh at her. Hinako chooses to fight the gods, to fight her fate. After their defeat, Kotoyuki carries the two Hinakos out of the shrine. He says he has never seen the fox god so cruel. Kotoyuki wants to know whether his love for Hinako is real or merely a spell. Hinako tells him to live and wait for her true answer, her true desire. At last, the two Hinakos become united. She escapes the mind world and returns to reality. Hinako receives a letter from Kotoyuki. He will try to live a normal life, discover his own dreams, and re-examine his feelings for her. She considers that perhaps she might be the one to propose to Kotoyuki. At the same time, she wants to pour her heart into something not yet decided. In an empty Ebisugaoka, those wishes settle. Two paths she now carries within herself. The town falls silent, yet the stories still breathe between those torii gates. Which lingers for you longer? The fear, the folklore, or the face beneath the mask? I'm curious which moment stayed. Did you enjoy the story of Silent Hill F? This is one of those games where you can't really grasp the whole story just by watching the cutscenes or playing through. You need to dive into countless journals, connect the fragments, and slowly piece everything together. Well, I really tried my best to give you a full breakdown of everything that happens in the story. But in the end, it's up to you to interpret what it all means. So feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching PST Story.